countdown it? All right. All right. Hey, welcome to the Liverpool Community Podcast. I'm your host, Chase Johnson Lynch. And Phil just gave me one of these really softball countdowns. Thanks, Phil. That was all great. But what I'm more thrilled about is my guest today, because it's a person I know from way back in the past, way back in the beginning, from when I came here to Liverpool and everything. And he's been doing some great things in the community. So I'm joined here by Timo Tierney. How you doing, Timo?
I'm very good, mate. Fantastic. Always good.
Listen, bro, I mean, first of all, it's good to see you
Yeah.
and everything like that. But main thing I was well impressed by is the community work that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, first of all, you go back to the band days and
Yeah.
everything like that. So who would have thought that you would have ended up doing community work? I mean, was that something that you saw yourself doing?
Yeah, I always wanted to do like kind of community work, helping supporting people. My uncle Tommy run a place called the Pera, which was the Vivian Estate Residents Association. He had a little community kind of building where people would go along and get like a Christmas dinner, or he'd take like the pensions out on the day out, and he let us rehearse in there, let us have a little space. She used to give me the keys. We used to go over, open this room up, and I used to think I wanted to do youth work, but then I realised as I got older I didn't. I wanted to work with adults and support people in kind of making life a bit better. End up at the Florrie 9 years ago today, which is the 12th of December.
Yeah.
And I went in and kind of, I'd never been there before. Funny, the only time I'd ever walked past the Florrie was with PJ. I was going to his place on Grafton Street, or his mum's place, your place, don't know, by the old gasworks.
Yeah.
And we walked past and I seen the thermometer outside, because they were raising the funds to get the building back open. I never went again. And I got in the taxi and I said, I'm going to the Florrie. And when I pulled up outside, I went, well, weird, this building's back open. I was going to do a gig, met Anne, met Bev, met the people who worked there. Was quite excited by it. Walked in and realised that they weren't sure if the building was going to open again in 2016. For a place that had spent £4.5 million renovating, spending so much money in staffing and whatever, for these new people to be there, and it may not be open, just to me was just, wow, this can't be real, this can't be happening.
Yeah, I mean, like, for those, I mean, you don't know that we record here in Liverpool, but may not know about the Florrie. I mean, this was like, it was the Florence Institute for Boys, wasn't it?
Yes.
Or did they call it the Florence Institute for Men and everything?
Boys.
But for boys. So it's been around for like about 100 years or something.
1889, yes.
Wow.
A lot of sporting history.
A lot of boxing, a lot of boxers came out of there, didn't they?
Alan Rucken, Tommy Beish, Billy Williams. Alan Rucken should have been a world champion. You know, allegedly one of the greatest boxers to ever come out of Britain.
Yeah.
Tommy Beish also, he run a demolition company, and it was him who came and tinned up the building when vandals were getting in. And if he wouldn't have tinned up the building, then potentially it would have been burnt again and knocked down. Tommy was still coming in when I started going. He has got dementia, and I think he's gone into some kind of supported living now. But these people who've got all this history and good people, you know, what I've realised with, you know, I'm from Kensington originally, live down the South End now and work in the South End, and there's a great air of good people, good generous people who, you know, they will kind of make this city beat, and especially down towards the water you feel like you get closer and closer to the heartbeat of the city and the heritage.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, this is like the Dingle area of Tassib or anything like that. The Holy Land, that was also nicknamed. But basically, when you went in there, you said you started out volunteering.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was kind of like on the verge of closing, but it didn't really have a lot of activity going on. It had a lot of history, you know, it had a lot of stuff on the walls. That's why you know about the box and everything. But then tell me, like, how how it started to develop as you later became the community coordinator.
So the idea was I used to go to a place called Roscommon Street School, which was adult education after class. It wasn't like accredited, or it wasn't like that. This guy used to just go and do this guitar class. I used to go because I wanted to learn how to play guitar. My dad would drop me off, pick me up, and I'd go in this big old school building, and the guy would pass around like the Eagles, Lion Eyes, or like Horse with No Name, And I'd sit and I'd be trying to learn the chords and just being around other people. But there used to be this guy who used to turn up, and he used to come with his guitar. And as soon as we'd start, he'd put his guitar down and just get up in the middle of the room and start dancing. And no one would tell him no, or no one would say, like, you can't do that, or they just let him, because that's what he was there for.
Yeah.
So he came with the guys, he was wanting to learn how to play guitar, but he was there for the social side and to have a little dance. Brilliant. No one's telling him no. He's having a good time. We're having a good time.
Yeah.
Everyone's winning. So that kind of stopped, and I always had an idea that like a lot of houses in Liverpool have guitars, a lot of people who want to learn, but when you start playing guitar, usually if you don't keep it up for a month, 3 weeks, you put it back down because you sound dreadful and you never pick it up again.
Yeah.
But if you're surrounded by people who are learning as well, you don't hear how bad you sound.
Yeah, I get you.
So it gives you an impetus to want to go, and then you come in with other people who are like-minded, so you get to meet friends, and then I'm there, and I'm inspiring you, and I'm teaching you, and I'm showing you that if you do it this way, you'll be playing guitar. I must have taught 500, 600 people how to play guitar or something weird. And it was always out to circle around, like almost like being like around a campfire or something, or
Yeah.
and it just works.
I mean, I can only play Deep Purple myself.
That's all right.
You know, but I can, Phil. I can play Deep Purple. Dun dun dun
Yeah.
dun. I can do that. That's it. But I can do that. Thanks, Phil. You know, Phil neophyte. But anyway, you started out with small group of class. And don't worry about that. We go back and forth.
That's
on
all right.
I
like it.
You start out with a small group of class that is build, and you now can claim about like around 80 to 85 people a week.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, my wife comes home and complains about teaching 30 kids, and I go, man,
Yeah,
I've got,
you don't know.
I've got 80 people who are all at different levels with different ages and wants, and, you know, kind of what they're there for. There's people who... I've only ever had one idiot as well turn up. Everyone else has absolutely been fantastic.
And that wasn't me, see, Bill. All
Yeah,
right,
it wasn't
but
you, no. Because as soon as you go into Florrie and, you know, you come into the room where I am and there's lovely people, you can't help but be nice.
Yeah.
And you can't help but feel you're there.
That you're in a place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's caring, and you know, it's about, you know, inclusivity, not exclusivity. I'd never have anyone coming in and taking over my class or showing how good they are, or it's all about everyone being on the same level, and that's how you get the best out of people.
Well, I think the best way of really understanding that, because like I said, there was nothing really going on like when it was kind of like reinventing itself. But now, hearing from you, we're talking about like about 42 hours of free activities going on. I mean, not, you know, kind of like it was like, hey, there's Zumba class over there for 10 quid, you know, or yoga over there. But, you know, you're talking about free activities, all ages and everything, doing everything from guitars, you got podcasts, you got radio. You even have ukulele, Phil. They have a ukulele over there as well. You know, because Phil teaches the ukulele here.
I don't like the ukulele. I don't like the sound of it.
Don't say that, because Phil teaches ukulele.
That's all right.
No, he's actually, what are you, Phil? You're a bassist, aren't you? Yeah. So Bill is
a big
actually...
ukulele.
Listen, man, the ukulele is cute, bro, and that's the thing nowadays, Timo.
It's you know, people who don't play instruments.
Yes, that's right.
It's
about social inclusion.
Yeah, totally. It's a good instrument to pick up for your first instrument. You know, we have about 40 people come in the ukulele group on a Friday morning. It's run by a volunteer called Helen, who's fabulous. She comes every single week, never lets them down, and if someone turns up, they haven't got a ukulele, we give them one, because people donate instruments to us, so people might bring in their old instruments. We just act as a vessel to get it. You know, we give over 1,000 guitars away over like 9 years, give hundreds of guitars away every year, that people come in, they say, I've got a guitar, it's gone a bit old, it's got no strings, give us it, get new strings on it. Someone turns up, they haven't got one, they get it.
Yeah.
And it's all about passing on. You can't be the keeper, you can't be...
No.
You know what I mean? It's everyone's. The building's not mine, it's everybody's.
No, but also, too, is like with these classes, I think another popularity to them is because you know a lot of, as you say, you know a lot of bands and stuff like that. So you have a lot of guest stars come through the classes sometimes, don't you? So run off kind of like, you know, that whole like, name drop list. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so the class, when it's on a Tuesday, sometimes just surprise them with someone turning up, don't tell them, and so I like Jamie Webster in, James Skelly from the Coral, Steve Pilgrim, who plays drums for Paul Wellens, a solo artist in his own right, who's fantastic. Shipbuilders, Ellis Murphy, Ian Prowse, The Farm, Kerry Chaos, who's fabulous.
Oh, I love Kerry, yeah.
You know, I've had hundreds of different people and a lot of people message me and say, I'd love to come in and play.
Yeah.
You know, I ain't going out and begging people, but as soon as they see the established community building, they see the people wanting to do it. And again, you know, me asking the question, I'm not asking for much, I'm just asking, come and give an hour of your time. It makes so many people happy. And it does.
Phil, you should do that, man, because Phil actually teaches guitar here, you know, when we do our, you know, high program and stuff like that. But, I mean, you know, Phil, you know, as you could tell, he's old, because you can see all that, like, white hair in his hair.
Like me?
Yeah.
I've been great since I was 14.
Not old like you. He's a bit older. He's a bit older, because you're a bit younger than me.
Do you know what? It's about, you know, the more places that you see popping up, teaching guitar and trying to keep instruments common and forefronts, you know, to make people happy. Singing songs and playing music makes you feel good, makes you happy. So
definitely,
the more of that we've got, the better. So if you ever want someone to come in and pop in, I'm more than happy to come in as well.
No, definitely. Well, now with all these popping in and all these people learning guitars and stuff, you had put on this big event, which is kind of like, as I understand it, the third time that just recently happened and everything. But it happened at St. George's Hall, right? One of our key, you know...
Steps marriages in St. George's Hall. It's the place you go when someone dies, someone gets married, someone gets born.
But they also, because they believe in what you and Florrie were doing, is that you got like that whole, you know, hey, come on in, do this. And you had about 601.
Yeah, the one's very important.
601 guitars in that one hall.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Tell me about that.
I think it was June 2 years ago, I had an idea of doing 100 guitars playing together. And I put on the Florrie, because I just thought, oh, what a bit of fun. People, and a guy from Oasis turned up, Bonehead, members of Frank Goes to Hollywood, bands like Rain, Space, all these different bands and there was 199 people there, and I thought, that's not with any kind of advertising, no, that's just word of mouth, that we've got 200 people. So if we do it at a building which is central, a building like, established like St. George's Hall, which, you know, anyone who's an aspiring musician or playing it, to go and do a gig at George's Hall and to walk into that massive hall and see it, it's quite, you know, takes you back, a bit mind-blowing. So last June, I think we done 500, and then in the December, done 600, and then for a bit of fun, they asked us back, so I put one extra on and done 601, just to keep that record going. I'm not here to break records, not here to, but it's just fun. It makes people, you know, who were there feel a part of something special, and it definitely is.
Well, it wasn't just the guitars though, because you also had like a 40-person choir along singing as well.
Yeah, the 601 choir was put together by a volunteer called John Finnegan. He runs the Larks of Lark Lane, who's a choir, and he just wants to get people together. So they'd all come from different choirs, Sense of Sounds, rock and roll choir, and they just all do it for that gig. We have 2 rehearsals.
Man. It's a big mix.
It's a melting pot. Yeah. And then we have a string section, a brass section, who all come and volunteer at the time, and, you know, different artists. This year we had The Farm and Ian Prowse, who get up and play, and we sing their songs. So it's brilliant. Yeah,
well, I mean, if you're from Liverpool, obviously you know all together now.
Yeah.
What a song you're playing there. And I mean, it also was for the cause as well, as far as raising money for the Florrie. And what did you raise?
Towards £5,000, not far off. So that all goes in, you know, the restoration of the building, keeping that building open is very important. Last year we got some new instruments and strings and things to pass on to people. This year it was about, you know, showing the importance of the building needs to be upkept, and you know, the scaffolding up the side, which isn't free. There's rendering getting done on a grade 2 list of building, which doesn't come cheap, and £5,000 is a drop in the ocean. But, you know, we have BBC News down, ITV News, done BBC Breakfast, the Echo done. It's also about, you know, the promotion of the place as well, and keeping it in like people's psyche that there's this place doing all this magical, wonderful stuff.
No, I think that's what the main key here is that I mean I definitely want people because I mean obviously you can always use the support like throughout the year,
Yeah.
not just in these big events, but people also to be aware that a place like this exists where they can go
Yeah.
and have fun and activity. Now a place also like this has it's running been running like with volunteers for about
Yeah.
as you said like what like about 8 years or
Yeah,
so.
but Penny's coming, does the old group, she's been coming for 8 years. Helen, who does the ukulele, not far off. Emma, who does the fitness class. We have girls who run the food union, volunteers, people who serve teas and coffees, volunteers. Volunteers are very, very, very important to the place, and without volunteers, we wouldn't be able to offer all that activity. And we have an autism support group for adults, and that's run by Merseyside autistic adults who are volunteers. They volunteer their time to come along and offer a support group. People leave school 16, 17, and they have additional needs or like kind of like they have autism or ADHD or Asperger's or whatever they may struggle with or they have as something in their life that they have to kind of face with. Then to get support and to know that there's a place, the Florrie, where they can come along and talk to the people who are going and having the same issues, then that's very important.
Well, the place that has a very strong community focus. You also Christmas seems to have come early this year, Phil. Because they've already had the Christmas party. 2 days. I wasn't invited.
No.
Didn't know about it.
Not old enough yet, Chase.
Oh, it wasn't for young people?
No, old enough. It's for the seniors.
Oh,
senior
okay.
citizens.
I'm not old enough. It's for you, Phil.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, what was it like? Were there like was it like about 500 people?
Yeah.
Here?
So it's the councillors' Christmas dinners. So our local councillor pays to get everyone a Christmas dinner.
Well, let's name that councillor because we
Steve
rarely
Mumby,
like to name these people. But
he's great.
Name him again.
Steve Mumby.
Steve Mumby,
He's a good councillor. Does a lot for the local community. He's been in every single week filling forms to help people with utility support, people who can't get access to phones and making the phone calls people to make sure people are getting a little less stress in the day, especially the old people who haven't got access to computers, emails, phones. He's there, he's doing it, so good on him. And then we've done 250 Christmas dinners per day from Monday, Tuesday. Our chef Barry came in, prepped them all, done them all, and then we have staff at the Florrie who give up the day job to come and do it, and loads of volunteers from
you also
bongos,
mentioned
bingo.
that you go out and deliver dinners as well.
So if people are housebound or they don't feel comfortable in coming to a place where there's 200 people, 250, we deliver the food to the house. And the Chinese Wellbeing Centre, the Pagola Centre, we delivered 50 meals per day for their Christmas dinner as well, because they had their own kind of Christmas social. So
wow,
all good.
I mean, listen, again, I just think this is just all amazing stuff that is going on there. But, I mean, also, too, is to say there, Timo, is that, I mean, I want to also talk about you, because actually, we go way back.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, Timo, now still a part of the T Street Band, I mean, that is still running strong.
Yeah, still
and
going.
everything like that. Still waiting for that new song.
Yeah, that might happen.
See, look at that. See, when you get old, I think the Rolling Stones probably feel that way too. We could play, we don't have to, or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
It gets harder with us though, because we play with click tracks and backing tracks and all that, and if we don't rehearse, then we haven't rehearsed. Whereas when the Rolling Stones play, I went to see the Stones at Twickenham, mate, and Ronnie Keith Richards walking around like as if he was playing with his eyes shut, but he was a fella behind the curtain playing his parts.
Oh,
so no one's doing that for me.
No.
I've never forgot that. I've never sung the right words.
Oh, really?
Even it's like songs with 4 words, and I might get them wrong. So I've got a terrible memory.
Well, what I thought was funny was when we were talking about the T Street Band and everything like that. You were saying how the drummer has actually stayed with the band for all this time, whereas usually my experience that the drummer's the first one out. You know what I mean?
Dominic is the heartbeat of our band. We're in a band because first and foremost we're mates. We weren't put together from advertisements in a local magazine. We knew each other anyway, and from doing the Maybe stuff, we kind of kept on 4 of us, and and you know, end up with the
Yeah, I
sister
mean,
bands.
see, that's the thing I remember, and hopefully people remember, is like all the way back when Maybes, you guys used to be tagging walls, and everything, and it'd be like the Maybes with a question mark sometimes or whatever. But I mean, like that's what I remember, and because you were like friends with my older stepson.
Yeah.
And then they also wet the baby's head Jackson. So, I
Yeah.
mean, shout out to Jackson and everything to these boys. I mean, really nice bunch of lads you guys were.
I'd like to think so. It's like I said, everyone who kind of we met along the way, I'd like to think they had a nice thought bar. 'Cause that's very important. I don't want anyone to think I'm an idiot. Do you know what I mean? I don't want anyone, but I'm not really bothered what people think of me, but it's nice to try and give a good representation of myself and give the lads feel the same. We're all good people. But funny little story, there used to be a band called The Pies. The graffiti was everywhere. And one time we were rehearsing in Crash in town, and we heard that The Pies were rehearsing, so we went up and we went, "So use The Pies?" And he went, "No, why are we using?" We went, "We're in a band called The Maves." He went, "Lovely to meet you." So like, they were graffiti artists the same as some of the lads in the band.
Right, and stuff like that. But it's still that thing about like Liverpool is intrinsic when it comes to music, isn't it? Like there's something about Liverpool that nurtures, music and the bands. What do you think it is?
I totally agree. I know loads of young artists. The gig at George's Hall, I asked young Connor Abraham to come and play, Ellis Murphy, and they're two young artists who deserve a go, and they're fantastic at what they do. There's so many young bands, the Kowloons, young lads.
Oh yeah,
they're
I heard
good.
of Kowloons,
There's another band as well. I can't think of me, but one of the kids' dads was in the Real People. They're brilliant. There's loads of young bands. But I went to see Lee Smith, who plays guitar in the band. His eldest kid, young Lee, the other week. He's a man called Restriction. They were playing. They're all 14 years of age, and they're playing.
So your Lee Smith, his youngest, is now in a
band, and they were brilliant. They were playing covers. They were playing the Zanzibar, and I went down on a Friday night, watched them, and just it's boss to see young musicians coming through, and they'll always be there. It's not something that's going to just stop. But as elder musicians and elder people who've got children, we've got to keep inspiring these kids to keep playing. That's why I like what you're doing here.
Well, no, appreciate that. I mean, that's the thing about it is that the creativity is raw and it's just fantastic, man. And I mean, I just think it's great what you're doing in the community or what the organization is doing. Obviously, want to share that wealth amongst the people and everything like that. How could people find the Florrie or the Guitar Club? I mean, you have some kind of social media handle?
Yeah, so www.theflorrie.org is the website, and then we have on Instagram, I believe TikTok, I don't believe you use TikTok, Twitter and Facebook, it's all at the Florrie. All the information's on there.
So they'll find the guitar group and all that.
All on there. And if you need some support or help or whatever, and you want to come in the new year, because we are shut after next Friday for a break, because we all need it and the building needs it. But in the new year, if you want to pop in and come on to some of the activities, you're more than welcome.
I just think it's great, man. I mean, Timo and stuff like that. I think you gave a place for Phil to go. Because a guy like Phil has to be able to go and play his guitar somewhere, right, Phil?
He's more than welcome.
Phil, look at that. Phil never want to say nothing. Usually I can't shut him up, right?
He's more than welcome.
Yeah, you're more than welcome, Phil. and he said cheers. All right. So, Timo, thank you very much for joining me here, man. I mean, great stuff happening at the Florrie. You can find out all the information on the site. We'll put it on the screen under here and everything. So this has been Timo Tierney. I'm Chase Johnson Lynch. For now, we out of here.
Thank you.